Of all the Amazon's tricks, this was perhaps the most diabolical. As Fawcett put it, starvation sounds almost unbelievable in forest country, and yet it is only too likely to happen. Scrounging for food, Fawcett and his men could make out only buttressed tree trunks and cascades of vines. Chemical-laced fungi and billions of termites and ants have stripped bare much of the jungle floor. Meanwhile, vines and trees stampeded over each other as they strove to reach the canopy to absorb a ray of light. One kind of liana, called the matador, or killer, seemed to crystallize the competition. It wrapped itself around a tree, as if offering a tender embrace, then began to strangle it, stealing both its life and place amid the forest. Even those animals that Fawcett and his party should have been able to see remained invisible to their untutored eyes. Bats hid in tents of leaves, armadillos burrowed in the ground, moths looked like bark, caimans became logs. They had gone for more than a month with almost no food, and were starving. Their blood pressure plummeted, and their bodies consumed their own tissue. Unable to think about the past or the future, about anything other than food, the men became irritable, apathetic, and paranoid. In their weakened state, they were susceptible to disease and infection, and most of them had developed severe fevers. Fawcett feared mutiny. Fawcett soon noticed that one of the men had vanished. He eventually came upon him sitting collapsed against a tree. Fawcett ordered the man to get up, but he begged Fawcett to let him die there. He refused to move, and Fawcett took out his knife. The blade gleamed before the man's eyes. Fawcett ached with hunger. Waving the knife, Fawcett forced him to his feet. "If we die," Fawcett said, "we'll die walking." Wow. Just wow. I never thought I would be feeling chills after reading a non-fiction book, but David Grann absolutely delivered a grand tale of adventure. The Lost City of Z by David Grann, it's a creative non-fiction, but it reads like an adventure story. In 1925, Captain Percy Fawcett and his son trek into the impenetrable Amazon rainforest to find a lost civilization, but ultimately vanish without a trace. Countless expeditions have been launched to find Fawcett and the City of Z, but all have failed. The rescuers and treasure hunters all meeting the same fate, disappearing in what explorers call the green hell of the jungle. David Grann, a reporter for the New York Times, sets out on a journey himself to Brazil to find out the truth of what happened to the famed explorer, and find out if there ever was even a lost city called Z. I loved Grann's prose in this book. I felt like it flowed naturally, and I was able to blow past this read from cover to cover in only 4 days. I liked how Grann switches back and forth from his journey to South America to the life of Fawcett and his struggles as an explorer in the jungle. In the end, I felt bad for Fawcett. He gave his whole life to the Amazon, and in the end he was cursed by his obsession to find the secrets of the jungle. He never got rich off his discoveries or surveys, but was a respected member of the Royal Geographical Society. And for his courage, I respect his ambition to venture out through the unknown. This whole time I was reading this book, I was filled with dread and anxiety. The Amazon rainforest is no joke, the most dangerous place on Earth. Everything is trying to kill you. There are poisonous frogs, bloodthirsty insects, flesh-tearing piranhas, man-eating anacondas, violent natives, and the horrifying Brazilian vampire fish that can kill you by swimming up your genitals. If you somehow survive all this, you literally will starve to death because there's virtually nothing to eat, because all the other predators have gotten to the food first. Too many recovery missions to find Fawcett's remain have ended up in tragedy. People are never seen again. But I can see why so many readers have been mesmerized by Fawcett's exploits, that they become inspired to face the same sort of challenges. I love the end of the book where it questions if there ever was a lost city of Z. David questions Fawcett's mind and the minds of so many others who are deceived by the mystery of the jungle. I love this book. I rated a 5 out of 5, and yes, I know it's a perfect score, and I don't care what anybody else says. It was a terrifying thrill ride from beginning to end, and I totally recommend it. Have you read The Lost City of Z? What did you think of it? As always, recommend the next book you would like me to read, and I will see you all on the next expedition.